All right, I don't know if I'm up yet. I need to wait until I get into this world to actually tab out and check. Started the stream. Well, I was running a little late, so I started the stream as this is searching for a world, and I can't really tab out right in the middle of that. I don't know what the results would be. I don't know where I'm going to spawn in at. Sometimes takes a while because I'm going into a private world, which I like to do when I'm doing dailies and weeklies, because on public servers, some things, everybody tries to go to the same places, and it's a little bit harder to find things. All the challenges that you have to do. But as I said, I don't even know if I'm up yet, so I might be talking to myself. World found. Please stand by. That's a good sign. Anyway, also, excuse me, I also noticed in the last videos, the last 3 videos that I've done, I must have reset my sound over the last 8 months or so since the last time I did a stream, because the game sounds are way louder than before, and they're almost drowning out my voice in some places at some times, especially when I'm shooting guns or there's a lot of commotion going on. So the first thing I need to do is go into my settings and go to audio. So my master volume is all the way up, and I always set it to the middle. Chat volume, that has nothing to do with me right now. That's why I did it. Oh yeah, because lately I've been only playing this when I'm not playing by myself. I'm playing it with Darcy and King Rat, and their volumes differ, and yeah, they seem to drown out everything, so I turned this down and turned this up. Anyway, everything else looks good. Voice, that's in-game stuff. This is all in-game stuff. So I think everything should be good now. I'm hoping. So let me check and make sure that this is even running. OBS. Yep, looks like it's running. Let me check here in YouTube itself. Looks like it's running here. All right, everything's running good. Let me double check one more thing. Go to my home page, see if it pops up there. Yep. Got my little Volt Boy Jesus on my thumbnail. I don't know if that's sacrilegious or not, but you know, I don't think it really matters to God. Anyway, so by the title you could tell, and if you watched my last video, I'm talking about the point just almost exactly 2 years ago where I consciously resolved to find out more about the Bible. I mentioned in my last video also that I believed in God all my life, but I never paid attention to what it actually meant. Here and there throughout my life, I learned things about God and about Christianity and about what it meant to follow Jesus. But I never really had a lot of deep thought on it. I've had deep thoughts on other things, just contemplating the universe and life and all that stuff, mostly when I was wasted off my ass. But other times, especially when I was in my periods of sobriety, which was years at a time, I'd go through phases where I'd party every weekend for a couple years, and then I'd stop for a couple years. Throughout my life, it's been like that. And I've always noticed that the times that my life was more in order, more that I had a little bit more control over my life, I thought I had more control over my life, is in the times when I wasn't out partying all the time. And the times that I was out partying all the time, hey, something got me. Something was nibbling on me. She's ready. Adelaide, get him. Oh, there's over there shooting up my stuff. I think I need to turn up my in-game sound. Who's shooting me now? I don't even see him. Somebody's... Oh, there he is. Dang. Wow. They tore my stuff up, man. Look at that. They busted my walls. I need to turn up my in-game sound because now that I turned down the settings, I couldn't hear anything there. I could hear it, but it was just like it was off in a distance somewhere. And I need to fix... I don't have one of the ingredients to fix my stuff. They killed my plants. Get a couple of these. That should do it. Gotta remember I am playing a game. Oop. Nope. All right. Anyway, the times in my life that I was partying all the time were pretty chaotic. And that's why 2 years ago I started thinking about it. And I wanted to... It dawned on me, that chaos and order. Well, everybody thinks about stuff like that. You want to get your life in order sometimes, and when things are so really chaotic that you're not functioning the way you should. But when things are orderly, things run smoother. But I wanted to explore that and find out exactly why. And I came up with this order chaos theory that I put on Facebook at the time. This was starting in December of 2023 through January of 2024. So about a 1 month period. I did a 6-part, I call it a series, but it was just a thought process that I was typing up and putting on Facebook. And it was just, my friends and stuff that would see it. And a couple of them would comment about it, and then I'd revise it. And it was not what I think now, but it was the starting point that brought me to the decision to try to find out more about the Bible. But anyway, I'll get into that in a minute. Also, the whole theory, like I said, it's not what exactly what I believe now. There's some points in it that are way off, but in the description, in the links in the description below shows the original, a text file of the original series that I put up on Facebook, part 1 through 6. Anyway, so let me see what I got going here. Got to get some soaps. Sell to another player. I am on private, so I'll just re-roll that. Drink Nuka-Colas. Collect pre-war food. Eat pre-war food. Those are all easy. Kill humans. Kill mole rats. And take a picture. I think I might skip that one. There is lots of big death claws over there. Probably get something just as bad. Well, build anything in a shelter. All right. Let me get a drink of water, man. Always this time of morning, my throat is all scratchy. Alrighty. That's a little better. And what can I do at my camp? I can drink some Nuka-Colas. I can get some pre-war food and eat some pre-war food. And then I can go in my shelter. So, colas, food. Wait, drink. Wait, does it say drink or get? Nuka-Colas, drink. Okay, I got plenty of those. All right. Get food. I've got some being made here. My dog food maker. It's a weenie wagon. Apparently they make weenies out of dog food in the future. Okay, and eat pre-war food. I just got all that, so I can just eat 5 of them. Is that what I need? 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And I guess everything else is good. I just got a little radiation. This is something that gets rid of your radiation. Just go through it, and it makes it sound like it hurts you, but it's healing. It's a healing experience. Anyway, what else could I do? Let me go collect some soap. I know where some of that is. Oh wait, I got to get the shelter thing. Oh wait, my shelter's over here now. Anyway, at the start of the order chaos theory thought experiment, I just reread it the other day, and I could just go into any of these. And it was close. It was a good place to start, and I think it's a good place to start with everybody. If you have any questions about God, or if you're even an atheist, start thinking about order and chaos. Start Googling it, trying to understand it, and start looking at your life experiences. Luckily, I had a lot of life experiences by that time. At that time, I was 65, 64. When I started thinking about it, I'm 67 now. I've had a literally hell of a life. A lot of self-indulgence, near-death experiences. Not that I got killed and saw God or something, but came close to dying a lot of times just from my stupidity. Way too much partying and drugs. Living through the 70s and 80s. It'll do that to you. I've met some good people and some bad people, and some that were in between, a lot that were in between. I've seen good people do bad things. I've seen bad people do good things. I've seen a lot. So luckily I had that experience to draw on. But I think even if I was in my 20s or even my teens and started really thinking hard about that subject, order versus chaos, it might have drawn me closer to God at that time. But I think I was personally meant to go through all the things that I went through my life so that I could see things just a little bit different. Everybody's going to see things a little bit different than somebody else because they don't have the same life experiences. But I think I could see things a little bit different and maybe help people that went through similar situations like me understand God and the Bible. But this is my starting point. So, wait, hold on. This is my go-to when it says do anything. Just plop some of these down. And then just delete them. That did not look right. Well, I only counted 7 when I was picking them up. So I got to go into history and look at stored. Yep, see, some of them just one. Yeah, 3. It says stored 3 over on the upper right. So it was 7 that I counted. That means that 3 of them didn't delete. There. Didn't scrap. All right. So let me get out of here. Soap. There's always 2 soaps here. Anyway, so when I started thinking about it, I was thinking about, I think the first part of that, I was thinking that free will was sin. What was the catalyst for sin, the thing that leads us to sin. It's true that it gives us the ability to sin, our free will, our choices, but it's not the actual cause of sin. But that's the first thing I thought, is that free will, it was free will versus God's will, not man's will versus God's will, which is more accurate. There's one soap. Free will versus God's will. That you have free will, and if you do free will, if you use your free will, chaos will ensue. That things will become chaotic. If you follow God's will, then order will follow. No, that's a drunk robot. There's a drunk robot downstairs. Okay, rats. More rats. There's a couple good spots. How many do I need? 5. There should be 5 around. Where am I? Oh. Somerville. This power station right above Somerville. Power stub station. So, So yeah, I went through that trying to think about it. But okay, so if you read the starting of it, by the end, I think I'm a little closer to understanding the difference by parts 5 or 6. But at the beginning, I'm using free will. When I say free will, I should be saying man's will or human desires. Man's desires. This gun does not really give me credit for all of the ones that I kill. I killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, there's another. I killed 6, at least 6 before it popped up with saying that I did 5. Oh, there's a text. Hold on a minute. I wish I knew how to spell. Sorry, I'm texting someone back. Sorry about the delay. Damn it. My throat. All right. Sorry about that. It was one of my neighbors asking me about something from around, around the trailer park I live in. All right, let me see now what I got to do. Kill human enemies. Kill box. Anyway, where was I? So what I started trying to where I started with all that was like I was talking about a minute ago, or when I first started talking about this, is that why my life was in order when I wasn't out partying all the time. It's pretty obvious. First thing I thought of is it was because I was more able to think about what I was doing, and I wasn't. Oh crap! Man, I wasn't even paying attention. Was I that low on health? Give up. I can't save myself. I wasn't even paying attention. This gun that I have, I probably shouldn't be using it when I'm doing this. The gun that I have is the bullets are explosive. So if I shoot somebody that's close to me, it backfires on me and hurts me too. I didn't even notice how low my health was. I wasn't paying attention because I was talking. But anyway, I think I'm going to switch guns real quick. I know this is get confusing with me stopping and starting my conversation and not being consistent. So I'll if you're trying to figure out what I'm talking about and then I stop and then I come back to it later, it might lose a little bit more of the impact that it would if I just continue through. But just bear with me. This is my only option for right now on how to talk about these things. Is to do it while I'm playing this video game. I don't have a camera, so I can't do it face to face. What was that? A dog? Where is it? I'm getting shot from all around. See, this gun hurts me too if they're too close. Bastard up there is shooting at me too. Do I have all 10 now? No, I still need 3 more. Where'd that dog go? He's going to come back and bite me in the butt here in a minute. Anyway, it's pretty obvious that when you're more clear-headed, you make better decisions. So that was the first thing I thought of, and then I started thinking about
Where'd you go?
I started thinking about oh hey, this is way too distracting. Now I hear that bonk.
Let me kill you.
Means there's a bobblehead somewhere. I think it's under me. There, got all 10 of them. After I find out where this bobblehead is, I'm going to get out of here so I could actually talk. There it is. And it's going to take a few seconds because I am around enemies. There's enemies under me.
Marco!
Hear him. Marco Polo. Anyway, from here, I could actually talk without too much interruption. I got all of my dailies done. So now I could just say what I need to say. I haven't really got too far on what I'm trying to say here. Let me just cut to the chase on it. The whole order chaos theory led me from thinking about God's will versus man's will through heaven on earth, hell on earth, through all these steps until I got to what I think is the truth about it. What I think biblically is the truth about it. And I think a lot of Christians would agree with this. And it's really simple. And this is the point I really want to emphasize, is that if you just try to study good versus evil, just start from that point, chaos versus order, devil versus God, and you try to understand one single concept first, then everything will start falling into place after that. After you understand one thing and you try to make sense of it, then you'll see other things, and little by little things will become a lot clearer. And that's where the whole order versus chaos thing led me to, is understanding that chaos is confusion and dysfunction and everything around you that closes in and makes you feel like you're in a box. Order is the things that are more freeing, that makes you feel peace and feel understanding, and you can relate to things better. You can relate to people. You can relate to conversations. And where it stems from, what I finally understand, and today I understand it even better. As the last 2 years went on, I understood it better and better. And every day I even seem to, just this one concept, I seem to see it a little bit clearer. Order.
The White Spring is under our protection.
Is God's will. You know inside of you, when you're doing something, you know that there's a right way and a wrong way. And there's probably a lot of wrong ways. And there's a lot of things that you can do that are in between. There's the absolute right way. When you have a choice, there's one choice out of all the choices that in front of you that is the absolute right choice. The thing that will do probably no damage to anybody else or yourself. No immediate damage or no long-term damage. There is one thing that is completely benevolent, that is completely selfless, that is harder than all the other choices. Sometimes, if you look at it that way, it's the hardest choice you can make, the path less taken. Every single choice you make, you could see those things if you think about them. You can always find the right choice if you think about it hard enough. Sometimes it doesn't take a lot of thought. If you follow that choice, that is God's will. If you follow any of the other ones, there is some kind of selfish desire built into that. You're doing it for some selfish reason. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's power. Maybe it's I just want to go get wasted. Maybe it's I want to go get laid. There is something built into that that you want personal satisfaction from. So we all struggle with that, to do the right thing or do what we really want to do. Do what God wants us to do or do what man wants us to do. What we want to do, our own human desires. That's the difference between God's will and man's will. So where does free will come into this? And willpower. Willpower is an easy one. Willpower is following God's will, following that inner voice in you that's telling you, don't do that. This might be harder, but this is the right thing to do. That's willpower, to stick to the right path. Free will. And this is what I got wrong for a while. Then I started understanding it. Free will, from the beginning, God gave us free will. If and when you understand or believe in God, you'll understand that. That's a basic tenet. I mean, even if you're not religious, everybody knows that that's what's in the Bible. God, in the beginning, God, they created the universe and created man on the sixth day, and it was very good. But he gave us free will. But in the Garden of Eden, there was only one choice. Mankind, humanity, all rested on one choice. Adam, as a matter of fact, in ancient Hebrew or Aramaic, whichever one they used at the time of Moses, I can't remember,
The grounds are not secure.
means humanity. Adam means humanity, mankind. Eve means giver of life. So, in the beginning, God gave mankind one choice. God being timeless already knew what choice we were going to make, but he had already had a path laid out for us from that point on, to teach us to use our free will right. So we got free will, gave us that one choice: do not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And we did, which led us on a path of discovery. We needed this, though. We needed the free will. If we were, God's ultimate plan is to have mankind rule the world. From the beginning, that's what Adam's job was, and his offspring, and so on, was to rule the world and rule the universe alongside of him. So that's the ultimate goal, is for us to learn how to rule the universe. And to learn how to rule the universe, we have to become completely benevolent, perfect like God. We were in the Garden of Eden. We weren't after that. And we continue to be not like that. We're not totally benevolent or totally perfect until the end times. So after the fall of man, after we understood what good and evil was,
the grounds are not secure.
when we finally understood the difference between chaos and order, in other words, well, the other way around, order and chaos, good and evil, we have from that time on been in a learning experience to become perfected again. And we have to go through these growing pains as humankind to become perfect in God's eyes again.
Maintain situational awareness.
So free will
Grounds are not
gave
secure.
us the ability to understand good and evil. But also free will gives us the choices to do the wrong thing. And every time you do the wrong thing, every time you take the road more traveled, when you have a decision, if you make the wrong choices, you're becoming
Sir,
more and more callous towards that, or more and more used to doing that. It becomes a habit. It becomes a bad habit. So say the first time you ever had a beer, oh hey, this is nothing. But I like the way that feels. First time you ever had one. After that, you might not have one for a while, but then you have another one. Oh hey, that's cool, Helps me forget about my problems. Or it helps me socialize with people better, or whatever the reason is. Little by little, it becomes a habit. And then if you indulge in it even more, it becomes an addiction. Just like everything, even power or greed, money, cruelty. All that becomes a bad habit before it becomes an addiction. Once it becomes, even when it's a bad habit, but it's more emphasized when it becomes an addiction. You are a slave to that addiction. You're a slave to that bad habit. You lose your free will. You cannot do without that thing after a while, especially if it's a physical addiction. You cannot physically do without that substance or the gambling or the adrenaline rush you get, the sex, the feeling you get. You're addicted to those feelings. You are a slave to those. They rule you. They create the path forward for you. And the only way you can get your free will back, and this is what I learned the hard way, and I just actually really understood it about 6 months ago when I stopped drinking and smoking cigarettes at the same time. I wasn't really bad into drinking at this point, but it could have got worse. I was just drinking, 4 or 5 beers every once in a while. It got to be a little bit more than I would want to at times. Other times it'd be weeks without drinking at all. But I quit again. And that's when I started understanding it, is that and the way I did it was I asked God to give me my free will back. That's all it takes, is asking God and believing in God.
Awareness. The grounds
Not
are
yourself.
secure.
We cannot do things by ourselves. That's why we have God's will. We have to tap into that understanding of what is right and wrong, so that our lives are not chaotic and dysfunctional, and everything around us seems to be crashing in on us. We ask God for help, and He helps. All I had to do is ask Him, please help me take back my life. Give me my free will back. And He gave it to me. And then I had the free will. From that point on, I wasn't saved yet. Well, actually, I was, but that's for another story. But that doesn't guarantee that your salvation in God. But what it does guarantee is that you have your choices back. You can make your choice without the addiction. Whether you want to follow God and want more of that, or you just want to be mediocre for a while until you slide back into addictions and lose your free will again. As long as you have your free will, you have the choice to make the right choices with God's help. Every choice you make, you think about it and think about, is that for my own benefit or for the greater good? Sounds like a collective. It sounds like communism, doesn't it? But the thing is, where Karl Marx got shit wrong. Oh, excuse my language, Lord. Where Karl Marx got it all wrong was he left God out of the picture. You know, the only utopian society that man can hope for has to be led by God, and that's where everybody is free. Everybody is free to use their free will for the benefit of all of us. That is a kind of collective, but it's a collective of individuals choosing to do the right thing. You can't do that without God. That's how Karl Marx got it wrong. He was an atheist. He encouraged people to just rely on each other. You can't rely completely on each other without God, because God gives us the strength to do the right thing. And that's the whole idea behind free will, is that eventually the whole world as a whole, who's ever left after, Armageddon, that's why this game's kind of fitting for this subject. It's post-apocalyptic, but post-apocalyptic is more or less halfway through tribulations in the Bible, which is a whole nother story. And at that point, there's only about 3.5 years before the second coming of God, or Jesus, God in flesh. The Word made flesh. Anyway, the point of it all is to bring us to perfection, so that we can, through God, use our creativity to make order out of the universe, to see the order in the universe, and create things without having to worry about life and death, because we will be alive eternally. And it's debatable, at least to me, how that all plays out and how that looks. I don't think that injury and mistakes won't happen in a perfect world.
Maintain situational awareness,
because that's still part of a learning experience. And if you stop learning, everything's just mediocre. You're stagnant. So it's debatable whether heaven is completely perfect in a human sense. It's perfect in God's sense for sure. But we'll be without pain and suffering. And that's probably a point of view, because anybody knows when you get hurt, it just depends on your perspective of how much it actually hurts. It depends on how bad you get hurt too. But see, we'll have the tree of life at that point, and we can heal ourselves. I don't know. That's just speculation. I don't think anybody really knows exactly how that's going to be. That's just speculation. Anyway, the point is that free will is our ability to follow God's will or our own will. And God's will leads to order and clarity and understanding and benevolence, where our own human desires lead us to worry and confusion and dysfunction and to become a whole person, to become a decent person, to become something that others can be proud of. You don't be proud of yourself. You know, you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But for others to be proud of you, to see the difference in you, to see you as an example, you need God's help. We all need God's help. We cannot do it alone. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I got to get off here. I need to go eat something and get some things done. I think I got everything I wanted to say said. It's kind of confusing because I'm playing this game. Hopefully in the near future, I'm either going to get me a webcam type thing so that I can just talk to the camera, or I'll just do it on my phone and then I'll edit it later. But if I get a webcam, I can just do live stream. I think I'll probably end up just editing it anyway and not do live streams and just post them on my channel. But I'm working out some details on that, and it might be another month before I can do that. So until then, I'm going to just do these type of live streams while I'm doing my dailies in Fallout. It's a little distracting sometimes, and I get sidetracked and I get blowed up and stuff like that. And if you want to know my feelings, I don't know if I mentioned this, my feelings about playing video games or listening to rock music or watching movies that some Christians think are evil. Puritans, for one, would have burned you at the stake for doing some of the things that we do. But my feelings about that, there's a link in the description below about is playing video games or indulging in media evil? And short answer is no, I don't think so. Because you cannot hide yourself from evil. It's all around us. So we might as well just face it head on.
Maintain situational awareness.
It's how you
The ground is
react
not
to the
secure.
evil that makes it bad or good. And there's a lot of evil in especially modern video games. And movies and things like that. All the woke crap. It's pretty evil when you look at it. Because it doesn't treat people as people. It treats them as commodities. And tries to influence them to be self-reliant without God, which is the opposite of what you should do. But as long as you can understand those things, as long as you can see the evil in things, as long as you can identify it, it helps you avoid it in your own personal life. So I think it's a little bit better in the long run to do it in media, to indulge in this stuff in media so you can spot it when it comes to you in real life. And I'm sure everybody, every progressive in the world at one time or another has looked at some of the things that they do and says, is this even right? And there's some of those that say, who cares, man? It gives me power. If I can keep people at each other's throats, they'll look to me for salvation. They don't need God. They'll look to me to protect them. That's most governments nowadays. But yeah, you need to spot those things, and that's just my feelings about media, because it helped. I think it's a good tool to play these video games, as evil as they can seem at certain times, as gory and just depraved as they can be at times. Oh, that's what I was starting to say a minute ago, is that old movies and TV shows and even games was always a battle between good and evil. That made a good story. That's why, especially movies nowadays and TV shows, they don't distinguish that. So you can watch something and you just get this feeling. Even if you're a progressive, I'm sure this progressives get this feeling that is just not right. There's something off here. Is because they are trying to push stuff on people, and they're trying to blur the lines between good and evil. Sure, good people do bad things sometimes. Sure, bad people do good things sometimes. But if you look at any modern movie or TV show, almost any, not all, there's a blur between it, so you never know who's really good and who's really evil, and they like it that way. They make it out to be that way. You're always wondering, is this guy a good guy or is this guy bad? If you see yourself asking those questions, they're trying to push an agenda on you. They're trying to make things out to be social constructs, is a word that I've heard used a lot, or a phrase. But anyway, I'm getting off the subject now. So I will be back hopefully tomorrow with another video. I don't know what the subject's going to be yet. I'm going to probably continue with these Christian stories, the journey that I went on, the journey that I'm still going on. I really so much want to tell everybody about this stuff, these things that just keep opening up to me every day, the things that I understand more and more. And I bug Darcy all the time about it, and she's really good about it. I try to talk to King Rat about it, because those are the two people that I trust the most in the world. And he assault, murder, can get into the conversation a little bit, but I don't think he's real interested in talking about it. I try to talk to my son about it, but he's still going through a real big questioning phase. I'm hoping that my youngest son, hoping that he'll start figuring it out. His wife is real religious, or at least grew up in a real strict Christian family. So I think just planting seeds might help him. But every time I send him text messages about religion, he doesn't answer back a whole lot. I was talking to him on the phone last week, and he asked me some questions, and I was trying to answer them right, but I don't know if I even answered them right. But yeah, I need an outlet to talk about these things, so that's probably what I'm going to be talking about a lot. As I said, I'm still learning, and I guarantee you I'm getting some things wrong. And every day I understand that more. The more I know, the more things open up that I want to know and I want to understand. And I think that's the beauty of the Bible, is every single question you've ever had about life is in there, about how to live your life. is in there. You just gotta find it. And with the internet and with AI especially, it's getting easier and easier to find those things. You can just Google it or get on whatever AI you want and ask it questions. You just got to ask the right questions. You have and you have to know, look up the answers in the Bible yourself to know if they're telling you the right things or not. Hey, there's a gold watch just sitting there. Oh, I can't get it. I was behind glass, I guess. Anyway, now I'm rambling. So I will get off, and I will be back next time with another subject that I'm not sure which one yet. Like I said, I will think about it and figure it out by then.
Serve and
Till then, leave a like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. I'm having problems with YouTube lately, and I'm not sure what my status is going to be with YouTube much longer, so every little bit helps. Just interact with the videos. Even if you don't want to watch the videos, just put them on in the background and let them run, because the more watch hours that I have, the less chance they're going to have of taking me off the Partners program, which I've been on for over 10 years already. It's my own fault for not putting out any videos in the last 5-6 months. But anyway, I will talk to you guys next time. Have a good one. Adios.